Hey, everybody. Hopefully the live announcement goes out. Doesn't matter though, because we're going to update this. Adam is going to learn more about Godot. See his plans here. Yeah, now the YouTube bot is going to just die pretty soon. Where is the YouTube bot? Oh, I don't have this open. There we go. Pop out chat. Cool. Ah, there it goes. Just very delayed. Okay. Hey, yo. And hey, reformulate. Cool. So, yeah, I just mentioned this on Discord. I've used about 70% of my quota so far after 4 hours. So that's not reassuring because I plan on streaming for 6 hours per day. So that would put me already above the 10,000 at the 6 hour mark, although just barely. So I think we need to cut the polling down even more. And chances are I won't shut the bot off when I go get my, oh wait, what? Won't shut the bot off ever. But it should go down to polling once every minute, so it shouldn't be such a big deal. I don't know. I got to just submit the quota form. But is the code online? The code's not fully online yet. Okay, well then I guess I need to prioritize finishing that. In the meantime, it's workable. Did I ever submit this code? No, I did not. Okay. Well, let's go change. Let's go make the bot even worse. Search for 10,000. There we go. And I guess we need to set this to something even higher than this. Like once every 15 seconds it tries responding to a command. Yeah, that should at least let me get through a day. So bad. So bad. Just use multiple bots. I mean, that is one way of doing it, but that's probably not a great solution. A 30,000 quota should be fine, I suppose. I'm just going to ask them to increase it. Maybe they ask, what amount of quota do you want? And I'd probably just say whatever, 50K to be safe. But I'd say really anything higher than 10,000, like 15,000 even would be probably fine. You just need to show them your repo, right? I need to fill out a gigantic form. And the form is not a problem. The problem is that I can't link to my code yet because I haven't put it on GitHub because I haven't really finished it. So I can't submit the form until I've finished it. And I just haven't been working on it because I wanted to steer away from that content a little bit. Anyway, yeah, so here are the things that I wanted to learn about Godot. So test making a dedicated server. I don't know if this was something important that I really wanted to do. Yeah, I don't think I care about this. Ah, there you go, Smoo. Things I may want to do if I have, hey Paris, the time. Yeah, so this would go down there. Okay. So I want to look at their official article on this stuff. Now, how does this work? Do they have images and stuff for you to download? Or is this all just with primitives? Looks like it's just primitives. I'm not even sure if it makes sense to go code any of this. Yeah, maybe it's fine to just read through this article. Yeah. Eight of us take shifts. Just crowdsource begging at Google. Nice for using Godot. Yeah, I like Godot. And as far as multiplayer stuff goes, I've just never made a properly real-time multiplayer game. It's always used some sort of hacks. So, all right, how about we start by just reading this? Okay. We rewrote Scene Replication API to be more user-friendly, adding 2 configuration nodes. Multiplayer Spawner configures where nodes can be remotely instantiated by which peer, and Multiplayer Synchronizer to configure which node properties can be synchronized by which peer. So Spawner I'm not familiar with. What is this? Automatically replicates spawnable nodes from the authority to other multiplayer peers. What does this do? My spawns passing the spawn node. I'm trying to think of what this would be used for. Like I'm thinking maybe shooting bullets in a game. Each bullet would be in a multiplayer spawner. Too scared of server-side stuff. I don't use Unity, no. And the today command will eventually respond to you. Although by doing this over on YouTube, you're costing me my precious quota. It should respond. It's got a 10-second polling time right now. I don't think I closed it down. Although it's possible it burned through the rest of its quota somehow. Yeah, given how long it's taking, it would kind of seem like that's the case, huh? Here's where you see your usage. Let's go figure out what's going on here. Oh, it never even responded that it... Oh, wait, I think I know what's going on. I don't think it knows how to deal with multiple live streams. Yeah, sorry, Ferris. I'll get you the for now. Here, let me get you the today command in site form. There we go. Am I able to differentiate between quota used by polling versus sending messages? Not in the dashboard. I don't think I can. Okay, I think I know what's going on. I think it doesn't know about the new live stream, and that is definitely a problem here. Yeah, it's still trying to fetch messages in the original one. It never got that the stream went offline. Oh no. Oh no. All right, let me take a quick look at that, but I don't want to spend a long time on this. I think it'd be over here. So what should happen is we should get this stream no longer live error, and I should really have messages that try to check when this is the case. Console.log, the YouTube stream is now offline. So this is one way that this can happen, and I think there was a second way. Yeah, here, chat ended event. I guess I'll just write received chat ended event. The YouTube stream is now offline. Okay, and then for the other one, we'll say this is that we tried polling for messages and reading them failed because we got an error saying the live chat is no longer live. Got chat is no longer live when reading messages. Yeah. Well, we can just restart the bot, I suppose, and it should work. Oh, this also means that my editing of the today command didn't work, huh? All right, yeah, it's online. There. The quota is eventually going to run out, and the bot will just die. There's nothing I can do about that. Yeah. Oh, wait, I shouldn't have even needed to do that. Because it would have... Oh, no. It was more than a minute old. All right, well, whatever. We're here to do Godot stuff, so let's go do Godot stuff. So, question. What is multiplayer spawner used for in practice? So I'm guessing we're about to learn about that. But let's write this down here. What is multiplayer spawner used for in practice? And yeah. Okay, so without further ado, let's see how to create a simple multiplayer game using these new features. Jump to bottom for the full project. First of all, let's set up our multiplayer scene. So they end up with all this stuff, some buttons for host and connect. What is this thing? A text entry for the address. Yeah, okay. And then the label must be for direct. Yep, sounds good. Wire if the signal is to starter, server, or client. Yeah, I'm glad I'm not actually coding this. I think this would be a lot of busy work for no real benefit. Start paused. That's interesting. Get tree.paused. Godot paused property. Wonder what that does. Pausing is a function of the scene tree and can be set using this. 3 things happen. Physics thread stops running process. Physics process no longer called. No code in those methods is run. Input and input event are also not called. Interesting. I don't play chess, no. Is it right now just the join window still, or have I missed some other functionality? No, you haven't missed anything. It's just something basic. I don't even know if we're going to touch that necessarily. The things I want to learn about are now things that are, I'd say, like non-primitive. So things like synchronizing game state between clients, smoothing out movement. Yeah, networked physics. So like, let's say we had a game where you had to stack cubes. It wouldn't be a very fun game probably, but let's say you had that game and a cube could fall and it, bounces in a way that you'd expect a cube to bounce. Like, how could I make sure that they're bouncing in the same way on both clients? Is that possible? And so, I mean, I know this stuff, it's feasible somehow, right? But like, what does Godot provide for it? Because I don't want to have to code everything custom for this. All right, server relay equals false. You can save bandwidth by disabling server relay and peer notifications. What is this? Server relay. Where's their documentation thread on this? Maybe this? Well, it's not there. Here, maybe? Enable or disable the server feature that notifies clients of other peers' connection and disconnection and relays messages between them. When this is false, clients won't be automatically notified of other peers and won't be able to send them packets through the server. So why'd they turn this off here? Oh, maybe they set it to true once you've connected? No, they don't. Although maybe full project source, I'm guessing this is on GitHub somewhere. Nope, it's just a zip. Just a zip. Okay, so then let's go load that up, I suppose. Home, downloads, scene replication. All right, so here's their code. I'm going to say I don't trust the authors, although I don't really care. Server relay. Yeah, it's only ever set to false. Very interesting. And all it's doing is stopping the notification of other people connecting or disconnecting. I guess this is the important part, that you can't send messages between them. Yeah, if a game doesn't need that. Wait a second, though. Relays messages between them. I guess you'd be counting on the server doing all this stuff. Okay, well, I don't see much of a point. Like, I don't know if it's worth writing a note about. Kind of want to, and I doubt I have this anywhere. Yeah, server relay. Okay, well, let's go to, oops, this isn't Godot stuff. What am I doing? Godot, engine, multiplayer in Godot. Yeah, misc notes. Server relay can be set to false to prevent clients from knowing that other clients connected or disconnected. I guess I'll put a reference here. To prevent clients from knowing that other clients connected or disconnected and prevent them from being able to send packets through the server. Also prevents them from being able to send packets to each other through the server. They did mention saving bandwidth, but I feel like that's not really the purpose of this. I mean, connection and disconnection would be very tiny messages, I would guess. I think the part about saving bandwidth would be not sending packets through the server, but this is something that you essentially would be changing your architecture of how you plan on synchronizing things. Like, if you trust clients to send messages to each other, then you're trusting them for some like very basic stuff, usually cosmetics or like chat messages or something, right? You're not going to trust them for like, oh, did I just open a loot box containing all the items I needed? Those sorts of things would be done on the server. Setting this to false makes it peer-to-peer. Setting it to true essentially makes it peer-to-peer, but even then it's not true peer-to-peer as far as I understand. It's still all going through the server. I don't think there's any way to directly connect peer-to-peer. Or well, not through the high-level API, I think. Means clients still get each other's messages. No, I think that's relay equals true means they get each other's messages. I think relay equals false would mean that the server needs to send the messages out. We can take a look. So I guess I'll write that down. Let's, I guess, figure out more about server relay. When When true, can I send messages between clients? When false, the server has to still be able to send messages, or else it doesn't make sense why you'd even do this. So yeah, okay. Let's keep looking through this. Automatically start the server in headless mode. This is for a dedicated server. Yeah. All right, on host button pressed, make a new thing, listen on that port. Yep, this stuff's all pretty straightforward. On connect pressed, get the text that you typed, make a new connection to that thing, start the game. Yeah, okay. Excuse me. All right, that's all pretty straightforward. Then set up our world scene with some physics objects and add it to the multiplayer scene. So they're making a whole bunch of stuff here, right? World, camera, floor. The floor has a collision shape, a light, and then 2 spheres, and the spheres don't have collision shapes. So now that we have our scene set up and peers can connect, let's add a multiplayer synchronizer to our object scene and configure it to sync some of its properties. Synchronized properties can be configured by selecting them from a list or entering their path. So this is super cool. I just want to be clear here. Let me show you what this looks like. I have this game, Basic of Multiplayer, which is supposed to be Basics of Multiplayer. And we can set this up to launch multiple instances of Godot. Yep, we have it set to run 2. Okay, so if I hit play, I can show you what I'd already done here a while ago. We hit host, we hit join, and then we hit start game. Okay, so I can figure out what keys work for this. Okay, arrow keys and what, space? Yeah. Okay, so I can jump, and you see it moving in both of the screens over here, and I can shoot bullets, but that you don't see. That's not synchronized. The way that this character is being synchronized right now is what I found very cool. So we go to test world, maybe. Where is it? Player. Ah, here it is. Player has a multiplayer synchronize. And you can see down here, we're just saying to sync your position and rotation. And that's it. That's all you have to do. It just sends them between the different clients. So I think that's very neat. Usually for peer-to-peer architecture, in case a client has terrible NAT, so they send their message to the server and the server relays it to the target client. But isn't all Godot like not really peer-to-peer? Did I write this anywhere? Well, the word peer shows up a bunch. WebRTC is only for peer-to-peer connections, but should be more performant. I thought everything else was just through the server. Peer-to-peer game. Solver NAT hole punching. Networked multiplayer eNet. What is this game? It's a card game. Check out the source code. So let's search this for relay. Well, let's just search for relay. Okay, so we don't have anything. Although I don't think they would have set it to false, I suppose. Also, let's see what they're using for their multiplayer. That also doesn't show up. Where's their code? Branding, fonts, game screen, global, menu screen, rewards, secret. I guess game screen, maybe? Okay, I'm not going to worry about this for right now. I want to get back to this thing that we have. Okay, synchronized properties can be configured by selecting them from a list or entering their path. You can also select their replication interval. So here you can see I made these properties very, very low. So 1/20th of a second. This is not smooth movement. You can still tell that it's being synchronized every so often. And so there still needs to be some interpolation, I think, between these things. So running the game now, you'll notice the object starts synchronizing as soon as the client connects. You can run and debug multiple instances. Yeah, we know about that. Spawning and despawning scenes. Multiplayer spawner node automates the process of replicating dynamically instantiated nodes across peers, including when joining mid-game or reconnecting. Okay, that's interesting. Hey, Sean. How goes it? Mostly boils down to the following multiplayer spawner properties. Spawn path defines a path where the spawner will add the nodes it instantiates. Auto spawn list defines the scenes to be automatically replicated when added as a child. And spawn function defines a function to be called on all peers. Okay, hang on, I have to sneeze. Oh. It's going well. I am learning about Godot multiplayer right now. I have been trying to sort of see where the stream is going, and so I'm kind of testing out some new things. And before I forget, let's write down Godot multiplayer. Spent the afternoon learning about Godot multiplayer. Yeah, so today was the first real kind of code review we did. And then Wednesday is going to be a one-off advice session. It's going to kind of be like mentoring, maybe a little bit different. I want to still get interviews at some point. I'm starting another course at some point. I haven't gotten there yet. You can use set multiplayer authority method to control which peer is allowed to instantiate scenes. Server by default, yeah. Been following since 2016. Yeah, I know. Yeah. I haven't seen you type anything for the last, well, 3 months, I guess, since December. So welcome back. Going to be a billionaire with this one-off advice session? You bet. All right, selecting levels. Currently using get tree change scene to pack or change scene to file during a multiplayer session can be problematic when players join mid-game or rejoin a match. While we're working on supporting the change scene methods out of the box, it's currently possible to simulate the behavior using a spawner to spawn the level scene. This ensures that if our game needs to change the active level, the appropriate one will also be instantiated on connected clients. To do that, let's remove our static world from the multiplayer scene, add a multiplayer spawner node, and configure it with our level in the auto spawn list. Okay, so this is answering that question of what do they really use this for? I see. That's quite a lot of points you just spent. All right, multiplayer spawner. I want to write this down. Where do we put this? Where do we put this? Multiplayer API, RPC, miscellaneous nodes. It's not exactly this API. I'll just make a new thing. Multiplayer spawner. So this can replicate nodes. This is typically used to replicate nodes from the server to all clients. For example, if you go from level 1 to level 2, or I guess I should say like world 1 to world 2, you would have the server adding the multiplayer spawner here. Let's add a change level function which instantiates the selected level. Calls it from start game. Change level called deferred. Change level takes in a scene. It adds it to the level node, which is what this is. Not quite. No, it has a spawn path. Okay, I see. Typically used to replicate nodes. If you go from world 1 to 2, you'd have the server add the node to the scene tree. Then you'd have a multiplayer spawner point to the path. Okay, let's reverse this. Well, maybe not. Where the node was added. So it will know to synchronize that newly added node on all clients. Okay, I think I've got that right. Now, auto spawn list. That is anything in here is going to automatically be synchronized. What is that? I don't see that here. Adds a scene path to spawnable scenes, making it automatically replicated from multiplayer authority to other peers. If you didn't do this, what would happen? Okay, I'm not super clear on that. But let's put a link to this too. Yeah. Okay. Now it'll be instantiated by the server as soon as it starts, and clients will instantiate it as soon as they connect. Very interesting. Even if the client isn't connected, then it'll be replicated upon connecting. Yeah. Server can also call change level at any moment to restart the current level or to select a different one. Additionally, when scenes controlled by a multiplayer spawner contain a multiplayer synchronizer, referencing the root node of the scene, the configured spawn properties will be automatically set on remote peers. Okay, that is a lot to unpack. When scenes controlled by a multiplayer spawner contain a synchronizer referencing the root node. So what does it mean to reference the root node? Here I have a multiplayer spawner that, yes. Okay, references the root node as in the one with a script. Okay, that makes sense. So in that case, the configured spawn properties will be automatically set on remote peers. Okay, so it's basically just going to synchronize everything. I think that's essentially what it's saying. Similarly to what we did in the multiplayer scene, we could add one or more spawners to the level scene to replicate nodes that have a dynamic lifecycle like bullets, power-ups, etc. Yeah. You can also use this for bullets, power-ups, etc. Yeah. Yeah. You can further customize the number of nodes that can be spawned remotely at any given time via spawn limit. We set this to 1, so there can only be 1 level. Okay. I guess the only reason you'd ever want there to be a limit is if it's something that doesn't affect gameplay, like particles or something. I don't know why you'd even replicate particles. But otherwise, or maybe, I don't know, maybe for resource reasons, but I don't know why you do it through the spawner and not through some game logic. For the player characters, we usually need to transfer part of the authority over to the peer, which each character represents. In this scenario, it's good practice to use a child node dedicated to the player inputs and leave the authority of the character nodes to the server. This helps maintain proper isolation between controls and game logic. Keeping that in mind, let's create the player scene with a synchronizer for the character itself and a synchronizer for the player input. Very interesting. So synchronize just the input and then leave it to the character to get synchronized differently. And I wonder if they do this with signals properly. We then attach a script to the player input synchronizer and configure it to gather local input based on the configured authority. Jump.rpc. So this is set jumping. This is, where do they use this? If input.jumping. So they have a reference to the input here. I see. Very interesting. And they have the direction here too. Huh. Yeah. Very cool. Okay, yeah, I definitely want to test this out. We'll then use the server synchronizer to keep the position and velocity in sync and to set the player ID on spawn, which will in turn configure the appropriate input authority. Okay, let's see. Where's that authority set? Call local. So what do we learn about this? Because this is like one of the most important things. Function can be invoked on the local peer. And the server can call it remotely. And unreliable. So wait a second then. How is direction synchronized? They have a comment here, but I think that's something the scene controls. I probably need to search for direction in this code. This scene replicator, path direction, sync true. But then they also need to sync, yeah, they sync these other things too. Okay, interesting. Messing with the Godot network. Hey, Jitspo, how's it going? Yeah, I've been pleasantly surprised so far. This is what I was just showing earlier. They have something called a multiplayer synchronizer, and it's like dead simple to use. You pretty much just choose the properties you want to have synchronized, and then they're just synchronized. So here I have a very, very basic game, and I can move my character around, and it's getting moved on both screens. Now on this screen, which is the one it's being synchronized to, it's not as smooth. So here you see it looks perfectly smooth. And if I were to move this character, the one on the right, that's perfectly smooth now on the right window, but not perfectly smooth on the left. And you can also see the gun being synchronized when I just rotate, but the bullets aren't synchronized. But yeah, that's entirely controlled by multiplayer synchronizer. So it's like I don't have to write any code for that. And that's pretty neat. No prediction yet, no lag compensation stuff, none of that. And that's part of what I want to learn about. But first I wanted to figure out like what do they recommend for these things. And yeah, I didn't know about multiplayer spawner. And I want to run this code pretty soon. Can then move the player character on the main authority by reading the synchronized input state. Yeah, so we're reading the input state here, and then we're changing our velocity and position based on this. Position's only being changed here. And then that is set up for its own synchronizer. So we're almost to the bottom of this. We'll then use the server synchronizer to keep the position and velocity in sync and to set the player ID on spawn. Yep. Finally, we add that. Wait. That's the part I didn't understand yet. Somewhere set by the authority synchronized on spawn. I've never seen this syntax here. Player : =1 : set ID. Interesting though. But that's how each player knows who owns them. Devin away these days, not normally up this hour. Yeah. I was gonna say I've only been back to streaming for 3 months as of today. Exactly. It's the exact 3-month anniversary. But I hope your game dev's going well. Are you still using dice to figure out what to work on? That's the new set git for Godot 4. I see. You can do it in line. Yeah. Yeah. Happy anniversary, everybody. 3 months of being back. Okay, this is very cool. Okay, now what is this spawn random used for? Character position? I see. So anywhere in the 0 to 5 range. We only need to spawn players on the server. So if not server, then get rid of this. Add these things. I see. So every time a player connects. If we're not dedicated to server, then add the first. I see. This is really cool. Toulouse, thanks for resubbing. Happy birthday, Adam. I can neither confirm nor deny whether it is my birthday. I still do die sometimes. My new project, I'm just kind of hitting the big stuff. Yeah. Well, I like the dice idea. I think it was pretty cool. But I also think I don't want randomness to steer me too much. I'd rather be either viewer interest or my own interest. I feel like I'd feel like a prisoner if I had the dice control me. Okay, I definitely want to run this. We can now run the game and test that connecting to a host will correctly spawn the appropriate level and players. Yeah. Okay, so we have all the code open. I'm going to take a quick look through it just to make sure that there's nothing funky going on here. Pretty much in the form of inputs or imports, excuse me. Because this should all just be the code we downloaded. But I just want to look it over really quickly. Yeah, it looks fine. Okay, so let's trust this. Trust. Now I should get syntax highlighting. Yeah, and we should be able to run this. Running this is going to be a little bit harder because I guess I need to go back to the project list and open it. Now you know the stuff you don't really want to work on. Yeah. And then you're more of a prisoner to your tasks and not the dice, I suppose. Okay, let's import a project from wherever I put this. Where did I put this? I don't even know where. Downloads, maybe? Scene replication. Here it is. Project.godot. Open. Import. Last editing Godot. Opening will change it to 4.2. Sure. It should be fine. If it's not fine, I mean, we can just figure this out ourselves. Okay, so where is our player? It should just be a capsule, I guess. Yeah, it's just a capsule. Then a sphere. It's just a sphere. I guess there is no world. Somewhere there should be, whoops, I didn't mean to do that. Somewhere there should be a floor. Oh yeah, there it is. Level. Okay. I don't know what the spheres are. What are these? These have any purpose? Oh, they just have collision. Okay, sure. All right, so let's hit play on this. It should already be configured to know what to play. Yeah, except for it only launches one client by default, so we need to launch multiple. So let's launch 3, and let's just connect and see what happens. Yeah, just rigid bodies. Well, the spheres aren't rigid bodies to move, but the capsules are. So I'm going to click host over here and then connect. That took a long time. Oh, they're not even static. Can I bonk these things? I can. I wonder if this is like all perfectly synchronized. Because what synchronizes the spheres? Did I mention I'm looking to get back into the corporate world? And if so, how you aim to avoid hitting the same issues? I'm not looking to get back into the corporate world. I'm looking to do this for the rest of my career if I can. It's a very different set of issues I feel I have as a streamer. And I don't even know if I should define myself as streamer anymore or content creator. But I don't feel unfulfilled. So that's at least the big one. Could add a grid texture to test the position sync. Yeah, that would at least let me see it, I suppose. Oh, that you can also jump? Oh, I don't know if I had tried that. Yeah, very interesting. I could open this up to all of you and we could just try connecting as like a million different players. I mean, if we're going to do that, we should randomize the colors and, I don't know. Yeah, figure out something. Can you push other people? It doesn't look like it. Can you jump on other people? No. And is it smooth? So which one am I even controlling right now? This one. So on the other ones, does it look pretty smooth? It does, but I'm also not moving all that quickly. I wonder how they did this. They could just be synchronizing it very rapidly. Let's go take a look at their synchronizer here. Player position is set to always. Their replication interval is set to 0. Yeah, I think that's what's doing that. Synchronization happens every network process frame. Yeah, so if we were to up this to whatever, 0.27, in fact, it might take effect immediately, although we wouldn't see it by opening just one of these. We need to move ahead of the other player. Is it choppier now? I can't tell. Let's set it even higher. Okay, so that's 1.7 seconds. What am I doing? I might need to restart the game. What sort of debug and logging tools are there? Just seeing the update traffic. I'm not totally sure. I think you might have to just log something yourself to do that. But maybe it's in the debugger. Oh, there's a network profiler. Yeah, it might be there. But I'm not taking a look at that just yet. I want to just test out this replication stuff. Okay, so host, connect. Okay, so now I should definitely have it be on the, strange. Maybe it's delta interval I wanted to change. What is this? Time interval between delta synchronizations. And what is this one? Time interval between synchronizations. Okay, I guess let's just up that too. Aha, okay, now it's working. So now you can see how choppy this one is. See, it's updating once every 2 seconds. So it was the delta interval I wanted to update. So the only thing that was allowing this to look smooth is that we were just updating every single possible moment that we could, which is one strategy. And if you're doing something like an FPS where all you have is movement and shooting, let's say, maybe that's all you need. But that might be overkill. All right, so now we can just lower this down and then try again. It should be very smooth now again. I do want to open this up and have everybody connect and kind of just see what happens. Oh, the other thing I'm curious about is if we do have it set to replicate every 2 seconds, what happens when I push these things? Am I even pushing these things? I don't think I am. Yeah, I don't think I am. I could have sworn I was moving them earlier. Maybe only one of the characters can move it? Or maybe I just never was moving it and I thought I was? Yeah, I don't think... Okay, wait, let's see. In the sphere class, how do we make this not have any friction? It has mass, it has gravity. I don't know. Click on physics material. Oh, this one? Oh, friction. Friction is set to 0. And bounce is set to 1. Wait, so then why don't they bounce up to the point where they started? And thank you, Darkstorm. So if I just click host over here, where'd the spheres go? There they are. Okay, you see this? It's bouncing up to here right now, right where the mouse is. And now it's bouncing lower and lower and lower. Isn't it friction that's making it do that? I get that gravity would make it move down, but then it's losing energy when going back up. I don't know. I don't know what's doing that. Maybe I should just make them randomly bounce higher. Because I think that this is actually synchronized, but you can only affect it when you... Oh, wait, there. No, it moved. You see that? I did bump it, but how did I bump it? Yeah, what? What's going on now? I tried this earlier. I couldn't bump these. It's going to like bounce off the world. Yeah, I can't move it to the left. I don't know what's happening. All right. Well, I want to figure out a way that we can test whether this is like kind of properly synchronized. Although I'm guessing it's just synchronizing probably the spheres too. Yeah, it has it right here. Yeah, sphere position and rotation, angular velocity and linear velocity. Okay. So then that's what's going to do this. So that is one way to handle all of this, I guess. Synchronize literally everything in your physics game. Let's see if I can put this online. I wrote a whole bunch of stuff about doing this. Options for hosting are convert to WebSockets, set up a VM in the cloud, expose your public IP address. Yeah. But then we would need to export all of this too. And if I'm going to do that, I'm going to wait until we're actually like making a proper game. So, all right, yeah, how do we... So this, I think we got an answer for. This I haven't looked into yet, but I also don't really care, so let's just delete that. How do we synchronize in a physics-based game? So one way is to just sync constantly. That's what this demo does. Very interesting. Very, very interesting. Yeah, you could imagine this not working as well when it comes to, like, imagine you're in this environment, whatever this picture is representing, and you had like boxes everywhere. You need to be synchronizing every single box. Granted, you only need to do it when it changes, which maybe isn't too bad. What do they have this set to? They have it set to always, not just on change. And I wonder why that would be the case. Why not just do it on change? What if I do that? Set it to, well, I guess it doesn't matter. They're always bouncing, so they'd always be changing. But yeah, let's go take a look at that. Multiplayer synchronizer. Godot. We should find the docs for this and then search for change. Update visibility. I don't think this is it. Is this not what I'm looking at here? Multiplayer synchronizer. It's the replicate property. Replicate. This doesn't show up anywhere here. Yeah, I think network latency is going to make this all look bad. And I think for that reason, maybe it's worthwhile to test this out. But I kind of want to do something a little bit more involved. Like we take Jump Royale and we make it just a regular networked platformer game. And maybe that's where we make it so you can shoot fireballs at each other. This is just as a test bed. But before we get to that, let's figure out, what is this thing? Replicate always. How do we change that? I don't even know replicate changed. Here it is. Replicate the given property on process. On process. By sending updates using reliable transfer mode when its value changes. Okay, how do we test this? I want a cube that you can move. So let's go duplicate this entire scene. Sphere, duplicate, call it cube, and then change this to a cube. This should be new box mesh. There's a cube. Look at, oh, I don't know how to drag the camera. How do you, oh no. Yeah, I don't know how to drag up in the world. Maybe if I, nope, those don't work. Oh, wait, that did something. All right, well, whatever, that's a cube. Behold. Now we name this cube. And then its mesh should be, wait, no, its mesh is fine. Its collision shape should be a box shape. Oh my God, this is so hard to control. I have no idea if this encapsulates. Oh, it does. Okay. Middle button is moving like this. And I want to pan the camera, and right click is changing where I'm looking. And whoops. Is there anything? It's probably one of the modifier keys, but like, okay, that's control. That's alt. That's command. That's shift. Ah, shift. So shift and then middle click is what does what I wanted to do. Anyway, now we have a cube. Oh yeah, Amigo, yeah. Shift and middle mouse, yeah. So now we have a cube, and oh, did I modify the wrong scene? I want the cube scene open. Yeah, I did modify the wrong scene. Oh, man. Fine, well, whatever. Let's save this as cube. So stupid. Can I just rename them here? Is there a rename? Yeah. All right, so we call this cube 2 so that we can go down to sphere and rename this to cube so that we can go up to cube 2 and rename it to sphere. Okay, now that should be correct. Sphere opens the sphere one and cube opens the cube one. Great. So the next thing I wanted to do is make it so that this has some friction, but is still pushable. So we need its physics material here, and we give it some friction, and we start it lower in the scene, I guess. I should probably just type in 1 here, huh? Or 0 maybe? No, not 0, half. Aha, perfect. Okay, then in the world, we put, oops. Okay, well, I messed that up. Oh, no. Oh, I shouldn't have done what I did. All right, well, whatever. So now we have spheres that are really cubes, and I guess when we start the scene, it's just going to drop them down. I don't even see them. Oh, I've messed everything up. There they are. And they're bouncing. I don't want them to bounce. So can I push them? No. Also, are there two there? There might be. What have I done? How do you make it so you can push these things? We have move and slide. I guess I need to actually allow them to interact with one another. And it would be probably more hassle than I want to work with. And the reason for this was to make it easier to see. Okay, I know maybe we should make it so you can push these things. So player has no way of testing whether it's collided with something. And when it has, I need to apply some force on that other object. I just don't know if I want to even do this. The other thing is I need to only have this work on the server. Like, should I just set up my own entire game so that I know what I'm doing here? And I don't need to work in 3D. Yeah. Yeah, I think so. But I need to figure out what it is I want to do here. And the other thing is I kind of want to learn at a high level just how would people synchronize physics? Because the ways I can think of, yes, replicate every so often. 2 is have physics be based on, I guess the only way to replicate physics exactly is if it's based on all of exactly the same inputs. Otherwise, you're going to have some deviations, and those deviations, when compounded over time, are going to lead to like just outright different results in the game. So you could potentially, no, you'd have all the same inputs, like I said. It's not like it's based on randomness. If we're based on randomness, you could synchronize a seed. I don't think you ever can get exactly the same things unless you're coding a game in like lockstep, like RTSs do a lot of time. Oh, physics aren't deterministic in Godot? Interesting. So yeah, that wouldn't have even worked. Huh. Yeah, so it's pretty much code something totally custom, like handle your own physics that are deterministic, or just synchronize all the time. I want to write this in here somewhere because I want to have notes on this. Networking physics, or I guess like synchronizing physics. It's insanely hard. Well, I mean, synchronizing the position and rotation of something is it's kind of like synchronizing the physics. I guess it's not exactly. But anyway, okay, so option number 1, synchronize the position and synchronize the position and rotation all the time. Does it provide some form of prediction? I don't know. All right, so this is what they do in this demo with multiplayer synchronizer. All right, option number 2 is use a deterministic physics engine and make sure to synchronize values with the right precisions so that you don't get floating point errors that compound over time. Let's just look this up. Godot physics networking multiplayer. How to sync the physical objects. This isn't maybe exactly what I'm thinking of here. Physics of Godot doesn't behave equal each time for each client, so the clients get unequal positions of the bodies, and that is bad for a multiplayer game. Any idea? Found a great repo which does it quite well. All right, I mean, I would like to take a look at this. What was this written for? This is years ago. Whew. Demos have been ported to Godot 3. Decided to write a new demo for Godot, illustrating a technique called state sync. This is now my recommended approach for networked physics. Both the client and server run the physical simulation. State snapshots are sent from server to client at a high rate. The client stores the most recent update and then interpolates toward it, which has the effect of smoothing the motion of bodies in the simulation. Yeah, okay. I mean, this is, yeah. I guess we could say option number 1B, but you can't write things like that. Also turns into a tag. Option 1B. I'll just write it like that then. So 1A, synchronize all the time. 1B is synchronize at a high frequency and then interpolate the current state with the most recent, with the new state. This is what this demo does. All right. In order to solve the H puzzle, pretty basic stuff, Funky Monkey. And I don't say that to be condescending. I just mean it's not like super in depth, you'll never get it kind of things. It's like, yeah, if you talk to enough people in real life, you'll probably come across someone who's got some ideas. All right, seems like it could help, hard to understand. This is all 4 years ago anyway. Best friend is the integrate forces function of your rigid body. In this function, you can teleport objects without breaking the physics simulation. I never knew that. I always thought rigid bodies had to have some impulse implied to them. In my project, I have to change the center of mass of a spaceship when some blocks get destroyed. It would cause a lot of issues because I teleport my rigid body and offset my shapes to do it. Nodes get duplicated at a proper rate to prevent jitters and jumps. You interpolate with previous state. If you receive 20 updates per second, you're showing an interpolated state between update 19 and 20. Yeah. Okay, well, anyway, this is an old thread, so we're finding old answers. How can I properly do it in my 2D game? It is pretty involved. Need to go outside and talk to people? No, you can chat with people. If you want, you can private message Endorn, who was a volunteer helper for people who were having problems. As was, oh man, I can picture their icon. I can't picture their name right now. Oh, what is their name? C and then 2 numbers. Oh God, what was their name? C17K or something like that. Hang on, I gotta look this up. It was not that. 16? No, I don't know. I don't remember what their name was. Oh well. C17R, thank you. Yeah. Wow, look at both of you go. Impressive. Oh, also, let's take a look as long as I'm over here in a different tab. What's my quota usage at for the day? Oh, just yellow, 84%. Not even done with the stream. Oh, well. Oh, and that's even with the 15-second thing that I just changed, right? 15.000. Yep. This is running on 15 seconds. Wow. Hey, Jacob. Okay, so developing a top-down 2D multiplayer game, currently using a dedicated server to create the network. Biggest problem right now is about physics networking. Facing bad time with rigid body 2D because it constantly gets out of sync with another client since I'm relaying on both the clients to get all the physics. First thought, doing all the calculations on the server. After some Googling, I found people telling me it can turn into an expensive server with some delay. I may get confused on what to do. Should I keep in the way of using clients to do all the physics? Okay, so what do people say? Also, what is, can I watch this video? Apparently only by going to that, so no thank you. All right, anyway, let's take a look. Default Godot physics are not deterministic. That means if you give a fixed input to multiple Godot physics clients, you will not get an expected output. It's a problem all online games have unless you use something like this. The solution is quite simple. Only the host does the physics, and its physics results override to the clients. Essentially one physics simulation. When the clients receive as a result what position they should have. Okay. Yeah, I see. Yeah, that's true, Casey. I did burn some more quota during lunch. Okay, so then these need to be split up a little bit more, but this is actually probably good news. Well, maybe it's good news. I don't know. Okay, so synchronize the position and rotation all the time. So have the server be the authority on physics and synchronize the position and rotation all the time to all clients. Or synchronize the position at a high frequency. So this is have all endpoints simulate physics. So this is like have only the server simulate physics. And then interpolate the current state with a new state. I mean, no matter what, you need interpolation. Use deterministic physics engine. So, okay, I should write this here. Godot physics are not deterministic, which means the same inputs can lead to different outputs. And I guess I'll just link to this as the source for that, although I don't know if that's the best link, but it's at least something. Because of that, well, even if you did have the same inputs, well, I guess I should say this. If it were deterministic, then all you would need to do, it sounds easier than it really is make sure that each client has the same inputs to their physics simulations. Since that's not a possibility in default Godot, here are some other options. This doesn't sound like a prediction. Yeah, I guess using the last 3 snapshots and lerping between them is not predictive. You would essentially have like a regression that then predicts what the next value should be and put the thing there. Clients also need inputs to happen at the same time to be deterministic. Yeah, I guess inputs of everything, because the physics simulation is only concerned with what are the forces and positions of everything. And player inputs only affect those forces and positions. So I mean, I guess this is not super clear. Do you turn everything in life into notes? Yes. What's the most common programming language used in game development? I don't know. I mean, the most common engines are probably Unity and Unreal. And so it probably means that C# or C++ is the most common game language used. But I don't know for sure that that's true. Also, I just uploaded my notes yesterday. So for example, the ones on the YouTube API are now online. So all this stuff is here. Oh, you know what? I don't think that's respected, the width of this image. I should maybe report that to Hideo. Report to Hideo if this is even an issue. Images on pages like this don't seem to have the width of the image be respected. Oh, I gotta take a break. Okay, wait, where did we leave off? We were writing out the options for synchronizing physics. Let me at least finish 1B. Have all endpoints simulate physics. Yeah. And synchronize. Have the server synchronize at a high frequency and then interpolate the current state with a new state. Yeah, deterministic physics engine would be something like what this comment mentions, SG physics 2D. Deterministic 2D physics engine for Godot based on fixed point math. Oh. Every time I say something like that, I want to say banana. Good old Donkey Kong. All right, yeah, like this SG physics 2D. And make sure all clients have the same inputs. All right, not that Hideo, different Hideo. Stream Hideo. You want to do physics, like box stacking or pendulum, that's really hard. If you just want to synchronize positions and rotations, it's doable. Yeah, and I think for most games, just synchronizing positions and rotations is fine. I think the box stacking stuff is also potentially fine if just the server is doing the real physics part of that. I think it becomes a problem when you have lots and lots of things that need to be synchronized every single frame. And I don't know, we're going to just kind of explore this. I think there's some stuff we can do here. I think it'd be really cool to come up with a prototype game that we can make that maybe we spend like 3 days on. I think 3 days is the golden amount. But okay, let's do this. How do I want to prototype this? All right, we're just leaving it out there. I watched the series Donkey Kong N64 speedrun. No, I didn't. Yeah, I haven't really been watching any of the Games Done Quick stuff anymore. Okay, I'm gonna take a break. I'll be back in a bit. Is it jump time? It's jump time. Brutal map. I didn't get to see it, but I'm always interested when I hear things like that. Close the game. All right. Yeah. By the way, sorry. On YouTube, the game does not work there. You'd have to join through Twitch chat. So in about an hour, we'll play again. Finally. Okay. So other ways that we could do this. I think it's pretty much just these, right? Client sends player inputs, including position, to server, while the player gets moved immediately by the client's engine. The actual world state happens on the server and sent back to the client. The network packet containing the next snapshot is delayed or lost, and the client runs out of states to interpolate between, and is forced to do what it normally tries to avoid, extrapolate, or guess where the objects will be if they keep moving the same way they're currently moving. This might not be a big problem for objects that move in a straight line like rockets. But other players move in an unpredictable manner, and because of that, the game normally wants to interpolate and not extrapolate, even if it means artificially delaying everything by up to a single server frame. Case especially because the player's eyes are the first-person camera through which we're seeing the game. Any latency or lack of smoothness here would be much more noticeable than with other game objects. Fine. Are you saying I'm controlling the weather? This is really interesting. I wonder if this is what this demo is doing already. Because they have something here. This sets the player authority. And then we have a physics process here. But can we call move and slide? What is calling this function? Because it can't be that this is called on every client. Only process on server? Ah, this. Yeah, okay. This is commented out though. I'm not totally sure. What does set physics process do? This is just a Boolean. Oh, no. Hey, Addie. Here. Yeah, good girl. Good girl. Okay. She really likes scratching the chair. And I'm trying to get her to scratch the scratch pad. Okay. Yeah, so is this mentioned here? No, it isn't. Is this even a thing anymore? Set physics process? Like if I can't even uncomment this? What's going on? There we go. Let's see. Abby? Good girl. Hey. She swatted at my head. She doesn't use her claws. She's very gentle. All right, well, this thing is just loading infinitely. I don't think either this function doesn't exist or there's something broken about VS Code right now. Does it know about this, for example? No, it's just loading that too. Oh man, come on. Why is this just like seemingly stuck? Let's just restart everything, reload. Does it know now? Yeah, it knows that. Does it know about this? Yes. Enables or disables physics. Enabled automatically if physics process is overridden. Oh man, I'm so confused. I don't know what's stopping this from you controlling every player right now. Give authority over the player input to the appropriate peer. Oh, that I guess. So velocity just won't be set. So this actually will be called multiple times for each client, right? If I'm, let me try this out. I think I'm not mistaken and that this is actually an oversight here, but it's kind of hard to tell. So we want to print, is print even the function we use or is it GD print or something? I honestly don't remember. All right, I'm just going to try print. Print what our player ID is. How do we even do that? Get multiplayer authority, I guess. All right, so we want to say %s colon process. And then we want to do multiplayer dot get get network unique ID. I don't know, whatever. Anyway, it's something like this. It's print. How do you know? I think I know the answer to this. All right, so if I just play one of these, it's gonna print out like a bunch of times, right? Non-existent function get multiplayer. Is it not this? Does that resolve? No. How do you call this? I did this in one of my other things. Code, Godot, RG, this. That's not a thing? What? Unique. Hey, there it is. It's multiplayer get unique ID. Knew it was something. Can't trust AI. Okay. Let's try that now. Okay, so when I hit this, we're going to just spam the console with a bunch of stuff. Yeah. This is one process. Now this, if I hit host, it's going to say a very large number and then process. Failed to start. Oh, right. I meant to hit connect, not host. Yeah. So we see this very large number and then process. So what I'm concerned with is, are we processing multiple clients from the client? How do I even test that? I guess in ready, we just assign a random number. Yeah, that would probably tell. Okay, how do you do a random number in Godot? Godot, random number. I just want the simplest possible thing for this. Yeah, this. No, wait, there's this. Okay, sure. Let's take that. All right, so we're just going to say a random number here. Var rand number equals this. Actually, no, I think this is fine. Yeah, we don't even need it in ready. Okay, and then we just print out that number over here. Yep, that doesn't work because we don't have immutable arrays like that. Does it sync all variables? No, it doesn't. Can't you just print the player variable? Probably. Where does this get set? I don't know. All right, I'm going to try this. And here's what I want to see. Do we see this long number print with two other numbers? If we do, then I think this is kind of coded wrong. I know it's just a demo. All right, so what do we have printing out here? Yeah, we do. Wow. Yeah, so this is processing two players. So there is nothing stopping this. So I think what we need to do is we need to stop the physics process on players that aren't ours. Because we're not synchronizing any of this stuff anyway, are we? No, wait, we are. Oh, darn it, I don't know what I'm doing anymore. Yeah, it's pretty hard to track all this stuff. Because multiplayer, okay, here we have the input direction is being synchronized. And then we're synchronizing player position and velocity. So direction is getting synchronized, which means that this code is going to run on all clients. So if I didn't do this, if I only had each player synchronize their own thing, then this code wouldn't matter. But the velocity is already being synchronized anyway. So it already shouldn't matter. Get blinded eye. It's going well. I'm slightly confused by what we're doing here. I'm going through this demo that exists in Godot, and they're calling this physics process function on every client. And I don't think there's a need to do that, but I haven't actually proved it. Seems like it's deliberate to reduce or hide lag. Am I reading that wrong, or is there something else you're looking at? I don't. Oh, this? Hmm. I'm just thinking, what's going to happen if we Okay, let's see. Let's, for a sec, let me just get what's being synchronized. We're synchronizing player. I wonder what that even means. Oh, the player property. I see. Okay, now that part's starting to make sense too. Position, velocity, and then direction. And the direction is only being synchronized by the player input thing. So syncing direction, velocity, and position. Okay, so then if physics process weren't to run, then we wouldn't update the velocity here. We wouldn't update jumping, but we don't even get the jumping thing. And we wouldn't update the velocity, and we wouldn't do move and slide, which would update the position. But we're syncing all that stuff. I don't see how this matters. Direction is from the client, or it should be. Yeah. Yeah. I think what I want to do is I just want to get rid of this. So how about we do this? So if you're not the server, you won't have a physics process. Oh, wait. Oh, I understand. I understand what this meant to say. But this breaks down when you have multiple players. So this is saying that on your own client, you can control the physics. That part is cool. I want to do that. I don't want this running for everyone else's client, and that's what's going to happen right now. Okay, I understand. So what we really want to do is we want to set physics process when we control this player. And I'm not sure what player even is, so I guess let's print that out. Player is, yeah. Okay. And then let's get rid of this thing. Okay, so what is going on when we do this? We hit host over here, players 1, that's the server ID, that's always gonna be fine. Now we hit connect, and we get this player. I think, and I should have just printed this, I think that's the same as your multiplayer ID. Hang on a second. Okay over there? Abby. Good girl. Want to come up here? You want attention over here? I think she's in a playful mood. I only got to play with her for like 10 minutes over lunch, and she's wanted to play for like more than an hour in the last couple of days. So, yeah, I think she's a little antsy right now. All right, I can't do this. And let me say is this. Cool. All right, I'm pretty sure these numbers are going to match, but let's try it anyway. So this is going to say 1 and 1. Hang on a second. Hey, can't just scratch everything. Come on over here. Just jump up on the desk, start stepping all over the keyboard. She really does not care. All right, I hit connect over here. And good. Okay, so then here's what we can do. When these two things match, we can set that this is what should be, the physics process should run. So player equals multiplayer get unique ID. So now you're going to simulate your own player, but you're not going to start simulating everybody else's. So these numbers should only ever match. Well, they just should never be different random numbers. They should just be unique pairs. So let's hit play and see what happens here. We host over here. Cool, that's fine. We hit connect over here. That is also fine. That's really glitching out though. I don't know what's causing that. My player is probably moving in a weird way, so the camera's probably moving. I can no longer move. Oh boy. Well, that's not good. Now, why would that happen? Desynchronize because the server doesn't update. But the server... Oh, right. We need this to be or that you're the server, I guess. So the server is going to run this for everybody. All right, so does that fix this? That fixes this one. Good. Does that fix this? Yes. And then if we connect with another player here. So each player is only processing themselves and the server is processing everybody. Yeah, I think we're in better shape now. Yeah. That is outrageous smooth. Okay, so I think this is one of the big changes I would want to make to this. I should probably write this down. Have only the server simulate physics and synchronize the player in rotation or position and rotation all the time. That's what they do in this demo. Note that in that demo, they're running physics process on every client for every player. I would add this code to ready. Yeah, there we go. If they weren't all logging the same console or process. Yeah, I think that would help a little bit. Here, I just needed some basic information. I needed to make sure that each starting number only ever logged a different number afterward, unless that starting number was 1. 1 always represents the server, and these other numbers are randomized. So if we saw that this one was logging, 2522 and the number 4000 or something, then there'd be a problem. The other thing I could do is I could just run them from the command line, and then I'd have different terminals for all of them, I guess. Okay, so do I understand everything that's going on now? It's always a tough question to answer because you never totally know. So I think I've got it. Now this export player and setting the ID, something that happens here. We're setting the ID to 1 over here, but we're always going to be setting it to 1. Set player ID. So then there must be a call to the set for this. Level character.player equals ID. Add player. Okay, yeah. So then this is called from the server. Let me see where this is. Add player. Yep. Okay. Yeah. Makes total sense. Okay, cool. Yeah, I feel like there should be a breakdown of how all this stuff works. And that's supposedly the blog post, but I think it could maybe be a little bit better. I'm okay with backseat helping. I think generally, I mean, if you stay here long enough, you'll eventually learn what I like and don't like. But yeah, backseat helping is generally fine. I think if done respectfully. I think we have a playable game alpha tomorrow. Well, let's finish writing the notes for this stuff. So I wrote down a couple of options here, or otherwise use a deterministic physics engine. And beyond that, I think your option 3 is just like code everything yourself. But I really like this post that was over here. Where is it? This one. Having the client simulate this. You like the big mouse cursor? People asked, are you ironically doing that? I am not ironically doing this. I like the big mouse cursor also. Am I following some kind of tutorial? I was looking through a few different things to learn all the Godot stuff that I've been learning for multiplayer. So for this particular one, I was looking at this. Did the today command not work? That's weird. Oh, right. It doesn't work in replies, Smoo. I haven't coded that yet. When are you going to start plugging the Steam page? Oh, I already sold 1 million copies. It's done. I discontinued the game. It was fun. We called it Capsule Collider. It was a top-selling game for a while. People just love running capsules into each other. But what are you going to do? Eventually the fun runs out. Oh yeah, that's what I was going to do. I was going to link that post. Where'd that post go? This one. Yeah, so this is basically like you should simulate your own thing on the client. So based on what I've read, I think the easiest, the best combination of easy plus good is based on this post. and the demo. This demo. So have the server simulate. Actually, it's not just have the server simulate the physics. Have the server be the authority for physics for all players / environments. And then have the client run physics process for itself. Yeah. And then interpolate between the last few snapshots of the state to figure out the position of everything. Client. There's a run physics process for the character you own to cut down on latency. Interpolate between the last few snapshots of the state to figure out the position of everything. Yeah. Yeah, I think it's pretty good. You ever use C# in Godot? Yeah, that's what we used for Jump Royale, which is the break game that I made in December that we play. And the code is all right there in this repo. It's good, but it doesn't support web export in version 4, but it's going to eventually, so that's not really that bad. Okay, so I think we're good with that. What else do I have here? I want to look at this, so I did. Try out networked physics. I mean, we did to the extent that I'm happy with. So try out smooth movement and lag compensation. So the smooth movement would be interpolating between the last X positions that we have. I'd like to have some sort of generic way of doing this so that we're not doing this for every single entity in the scene. And then lag compensation, I guess essentially smooth movement would be interpolation and lag compensation would be interpolation and extrapolation. So if we're going to do that, they would be kind of two different things. Ideally, something that can be extended for all scenes and not just one type of scene. And lag compensation, interpolation, like with smooth movement, but also extrapolation of where objects are going to be. And then, yeah, figure out the prototype that I want to do. It's the smooth movement. So the theory behind interpolating movement is not particularly tough. Let's say you just take a position. So you'd keep track of like last X positions and you'd have, position 1, position 2, position 3. And then you'd figure out, okay, where should this thing be based on that? And then you just keep kind of adding this stuff. Getting this to work for every entity that you want this to work for. So let's say you have this on a box and on a player and on a bullet. I'd want some sort of like mix into this class essentially that lets me add that behavior. I guess what we could do is we could just figure out like a has a relationship for this. So maybe put in something like a position interpolator and it keeps track of this stuff. Have a reference of what to set this on. Yeah, I think that would work. Hey, Mincheng. Welcome in. Okay, I think that's probably what I want to try out. Let's edit this. For interpolation, maybe make a, whatever I just wrote here, position interpolator. That a player could have in its scene tree that points to the player to whose position should be interpolated. Okay. I want to do this, but I want to do this on like a more basic game where it's easier to tell what's going on. So I don't know. I feel like all this is working to this whole what did I want to do with this knowledge? Make a simple prototype game that we can mess around in, like a freeform platformer. Try another prototype just to sort of bake in this knowledge. Maybe add chat to one of them so we can test out using different channels. I don't think adding chat to a game is all that interesting. So I think we should just come up with a prototype that I want to do. And I don't think the prototype needs to even really be a game. It could just be a bunch of random platforms and jumping between them. Sort of like a Mario sandbox, if you want to think about it that way. But even that, I think, is maybe too much for this. I think the nice thing about a platformer is that you assume that it has gravity, which means that you've got some kind of baked in physics for all the players. I think it'd also be neat to have just a little thing you could kick around. And I don't know, that's about it. Yeah. We just kind of see how this works. And then from there, if we wanted to take it a step further, we could turn it into a Soldat kind of game where you get, I don't know, a railgun or something, and you just shoot a line and it can kill another player, let's say. A networked synchronized physics screensaver. Networked synchronized screensaver is hilarious. It's one of those like, it's like if I showed you a lamp and I'm like, hey, did you know that there are people, I don't know, halfway across the world who are powering this thing on a bicycle? You'd be like, I don't care. I love that idea. Network synchronized screensaver. Yeah, I think a platformer makes the most sense since players have physics in the form of landing on platforms and being affected by gravity. Then if I want, I can add in some kind of like Soldat-esque mechanic. It's going to be 3D doodle jump. What's doodle jump? I think I've seen this. No, not quite. I was just thinking it's like, just picture any one screen of this, like this one, and you just can jump around on the platforms. It's not going to be like a fun game. I'm not trying to make a fun game here. We're just trying to test out that I understand what I'm doing with all of this stuff. Other people can see the same thing. Yeah. But for information, it makes sense. Man, cat's going nuts. Hi, Abby. Okay. Fine. I didn't want your company anyway. I don't really want to do this now, to be honest, because I think this is going to be longer than 1 hour for sure. And I don't want to get... Oh, you okay? Every once in a while, she tries jumping up to the windowsill but misses. Oh. I'm sorry, cat. If you come up on the desk, I can pet you here. Just saying. Yeah, so I think I'm going to write this down over here. And one of the questions is going to be, do I want a dedicated server for even that I do? And I think that could just be something eventually. So main goal, make a platformer that people can connect to. Yeah. Interpolate the positions of everybody in the world. What was I going to say? Oh yeah, allow each client to control their own player, but have the server be the authority. Holy cow, what's she doing? She just like pulled out a bunch of cables down there and then ran away. She's going nuts. Have the server be the authority. Interpolate the positions of everybody in the world. If you fall off the world, you get respawned back at a random point. And then extrapolate the positions of players if there's lag. For a platformer, it's kind of weird because if a player is jumping up and they lag, it'll make it seem like they're just continually jumping up still. I mean, ideally, you're not disconnected for so long. And you've probably seen this happen in other games, like MMOs, where a player is walking in one direction and they just like walk through the environment or something, or collide with the wall. Excuse me. Not if the server's the authority. No, I mean, if you lost connection to the server for a bit, then you would extrapolate on the client from where you thought they were originally. And that's what I'm talking about. I mean, you can obviously change it if you want to in your game, but you wouldn't know how to change it, because what if there was something like a high jump in the game and a player actually could jump that high? Or you just have everybody freeze there until the server, until you're connected again, and then you update all the positions. Yeah, you see the other players start moving. Yeah, this is what I'm talking about though, with the extrapolate the positions of players. In a platformer, I think extrapolation might not actually be a good technique, but I want to try it, even if it's not going to be a good technique, just to kind of see what happens. I don't know. Players may just continue in weird directions. You want to turn physics step back on then? No, okay, so I'm kind of talking about two different things at once here. There's the interpolation of positions based on what the server last sent. And then if you don't have anything for a little while, there's extrapolation based on the positions you had during times of lag. And so I want to do this no matter what. I'm pretty sure I want this. And the question is like, do I want this? And what would this even mean exactly? I guess you'd have to keep track of when you last got information about an entity and then update it. I don't know. Yeah. Flying off portions because they don't simulate the physics step. I guess let me give a better example of this. Let's say you have a game where you can hold the jump button for up to 5 seconds and your character will just keep jumping. So now on any random client, you can't tell if another player held the button for 1 second or 5 seconds. So it might actually be reasonable for them to just keep jumping upward, but you wouldn't know that. And then when it finally reconnected or the lag stopped, you would see that they've like really teleported. But I guess that's what always happens on games with extrapolation. There's a lot of teleporting back and forth because you can't tell where they're going to go. I guess that's the whole nature of extrapolation. All right. Yeah, I'll just leave this as a question mark. And then these things, do I want anything else? Oh yeah, I wanted this. I'd like this to be done in a generic way, e.g. Hang on a second, I'll be right back. Okay, never mind. A very heavy rain or possibly hail just started, and I thought it was something the cat was doing, and I'm like, that's a sound I haven't heard before. That came out of nowhere. It seems to be points to the player whose position should be interpolated. Yeah, I think it's pretty good. I mostly want to do this just to test that it works. That I know how to do this, I guess. All right, there it is. So now it is going to be make a prototype of this game. So I need to figure out what we're actually doing for the rest of the week, I guess. And for that, let's go back to here. So we must have used all the YouTube quota at this point, right? I'm guessing we're at 10,000. We're pretty much at 10,000. We're 9,300. All right, 9,300. Get back to this, debating on not doing an afternoon stream. Well, we already did an afternoon stream, so that doesn't matter. So this is going to be finish the Godot stuff and then do a video on it at some point. So Godot stuff remaining. Prototype a small game. Then make a video on it, on everything I learned. Okay. Yep. Yeah. And if that wasn't already here, wherever that task just went, totally closed it, doesn't matter. And if I feel like I haven't learned / tested enough, then add a soldat-esque gun to the game. People can shoot at each other to see. Yeah, I'll just leave it at that. And maybe ammo pickups or something. Yeah. Consider doing a Theo style stream where you spend a big chunk of it recording content for videos. I don't know. Today was the first time we ever did research for a video I was planning on doing, and I kind of convinced myself out of doing the video, but I wasn't recording anything for the video. But I suppose you could say even this was research for a video. It's just not an explicit video yet. It's more like, hey, I want to make a prototype and figure out that I can do all this stuff. Our own Counter-Strike 2D. I think Soldat is an awesome game. I think it's great. I'd love to make something like that. The other game, there was something called Arcane Worlds, I think, which was a remake of Magic Carpet. And this never got released, I'm pretty sure. Yeah. Well, it says release date, but it was an early access. I don't really count that, especially because that was 10 years ago and it's still in early access. So that means it never really got released. But those sorts of things would be really cool to do. For those who haven't seen Magic Carpet, I guess Magic Carpet 2 is actually better. But yeah, it's kind of a weird game. I played it on stream before. You had a castle. This is not a picture. You had a castle and you had to go claim mana, and then you'd have a hot air balloon come and bring the mana back to your castle, which would let you like power up your castle. And other players or enemy computer players were doing the same thing, and you'd have to like gun them down with your spells. I think this would be a really cool game to make, but I don't know what the balance of a game like this when it comes to real players. Any strategy game is going to have people trying to like cheese it as much as possible. And against computer players, that's totally fine, because it's like, fine, you feel like you're better than the computer player. But against other players, you actually need there to be balance. And I think that'd be really tough. All right. Anyway, tomorrow is no streams, making a YouTube video. I got the one-on-one then. What's the next stuff that's coming up for this? March 6th, and then we're not doing anything for 2 more weeks. Okay, and do I have anything else planned? Finish this up was on there. OAuth stuff, video editing techniques. This is going to be done. I guess interviews. I got to set up an interview. I have a couple of people in mind for interviewing, but there are 2 philosophies I have with this, and they conflict. One is do always cool interviews with cool people, and the other is do practice interviews with cool people, but who like are just on for fun, essentially. So imagine if I was just like, hey, who in chat wants to be interviewed? So, just kind of quote unquote random person. One of the few games we didn't need admin permissions for. Yeah. Soldat came out with Soldat 2, which I've never tried because it's a paid game. But yeah, Soldat 1 is very impressive. Very fun. Interview Prime. I mean, I'd like to do that eventually. I think that'd be cool. But in order to do any of this stuff, I need to reach out to the people. So I think I need to start doing that at some point as well. I think that's probably what we can do then for the rest of the week. The Godot stuff. I'm just trying to think, is there anything else? Oh yeah, one other thing, which is Jump Royale PR at some point. Maybe we'll start with that on Wednesday morning. Wait, what do we have then? It's at 2 p.m. Maybe we'll do it in the afternoon then. Yeah. Afternoon, JR PRs. And then 2 p.m. All right. So yeah, morning, we'll start with our Godot prototype. And I'll plan for that to be pretty much the rest of the week. I think that'd be good. It might not even take the whole week. And at some point, I got to finish up the rest of the YouTube things I was going to do. Okay, I think I've got enough. I think that's probably going to be it for this stream. I know I didn't stream for 3 hours, but, you know, sometimes I shortchange you all. Yeah, let me go find someone to raid. Hey, Artie, new to your channel. Just hopped in and check out the category. Used to use Godot, my first ever internship. Used to control drones. Oh, nice. Yeah. Yeah, I haven't really been using it a whole lot. I was just mentioning this that, you know, we made this game back in December called Jump Royale. And is there a video on this anywhere? There isn't? Huh, I should really link to that from here. Well, I'll just write that down for now. Link to the JR video that I did in the JR repo. Yeah, I think it's cool to mess around with this sort of thing, though. Just game engines in general, any games, prototypes, things you would have done. Nice Ergotron. Is that a similar keyboard, I'm guessing? Because this is a Korn keyboard. Would it probably look similar? I think Ergotron is a tray, maybe? I'm not sure. Yeah. Work has been stupid busy, so I missed the streams. Well, I am just about to sign off, I think. Because I've got something at 5 today, and I want to work out before that. Okay, let's go see who to raid. Wow, I have raided a whole lot of people in software and game dev category because I'm not seeing a lot of new names anymore. Have I rated this person yet? Wait, have I? I can't. It's like impossible to tell. No, I don't think I've rated this person. Okay, we're gonna raid Vimlark, whose title is I Did Another Game Jam. I don't know if they hosted it. I don't know if they just participated. But let's go see what they're up to. And then I'm going to get going pretty soon because I got to do a bunch of stuff. I will be back online on Wednesday. So in the meantime, I'm going to be making a YouTube video for my channel. If you want to join on Discord, there's the link. Thank you all for watching. Thanks for supporting. All the usual stuff. I had a good day. I hope you did too. And yeah, let's go check out this person together. All right, queued up the stream. Yeah, cool. See you. Bye, everybody.